I know, guys, this has been a long time coming, but this news really got me excited. I mean, listen, I still haven't changed out of this jersey for a while. I mean, the last time I made a video, the Knicks weren't world champions, and now they are. So, I mean, this is coming out to you guys pretty exciting, and I feel like I got some really good news to share. You probably know about it already, but it really is one of a kind. It's really personal for me. VivziePop, Vivienne Medrano, someone who's been following my channel for years, someone who's been subscribed to my channel for years. It's really crazy to say that out loud. She's making an animated movie for Warner Brothers called Prehistoria. And seriously, I don't want to frame this as just another creator gets to make a movie sort of thing. This does feel bigger. This is one of those full circle animation moments where a creator who grew up on certain films, certain styles, certain musical energy, and characters now gets to make her own theatrical animated movie with one of the studios that helped shape her taste in the first place. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to give you about a couple reasons as to why Prehistoria could be a generational animated hit. Not just a successful movie, but the kind of thing people are going to discover. They're young, they're going to obsess over, they're going to make fan art over, they're going to sing songs from, and they're going to keep talking about this for years to come. And yes, this does actually come back to a certain movie that I reviewed a while ago, Cats Don't Dance. This leads me to the first point. This is a dream project, not a corporate assignment. That matters. A lot of animated movies feel like they start with a brand meeting. They start with, what IP do we own? What toy line can we revive? Or what franchise can we extend? But Prehistoria feels different because the announcement makes it clear that VivziePop is creating an original story she has apparently been holding on to for years. And that changes a lot. I mean, when an artist has been carrying an idea for years, there's usually an emotional engine underneath it. There's a reason they couldn't let it go. There's a reason it kept surviving in the back of their minds while they were building everything else. And for VivziePop, that's especially important because her whole career has been around turning personal, stylized, very specific fandoms and worlds. Has-Been Hotel and Hell of the Boss didn't become big because they felt safe or organic. They became big because they had a voice. They had attitude. They had musicality. They had characters people wanted to draw, cosplay, argue about, defend, meme, and emotionally attach themselves to. So if Prehistoria is an original fantasy musical she's had in her head for years, this does give it a shot. And generational anime movies, they usually feel like that. They usually feel untethered. Like The Lion King, for example. That felt authored. The Iron Giant felt authored. Cats Don't Dance, even as a cult film, it was its own thing. Prince of Egypt, despite being a film about, the Bible, was really its own thing. And dare I say Spider-Verse. I mean, come on. These movies, they last, and they're not always the ones with the biggest brands. They're the ones where you feel like someone had to make them. It's like, I got this idea, and I'm going to go make it real. And that's why I think this is going to work. I mean, this is going to be less like VivziePop was hired to direct a studio movie, and more like VivziePop is finally getting a theatrical canvas for something she's been dreaming about. Now, the second reason is that VivziePop totally understands what makes animated fandoms last. Now, this is a big point. Generational hit is not just a movie people watch once. A generational hit is something people keep living with. They draw the characters, they quote the lines, they make the edits, they sing the songs, analyze the lore, make OCs, make cop plays, make theories, and then they make it their identity. The audience already does it. Her fan base, it's not passive, it's participatory, and that's exactly the kind of behavior that can turn an original animated movie into something bigger than box office. Because right now, it really does feel like animation as being driven by IPs or whatever properties are owned, or which company gets to own what and how we're going to make it. So fans don't like that. I mean, think about Amazing Digital Circus. That same type of fan base. And that got into a movie that already made its budget and more on the opening weekend through Fandom Pictures. Now, as far as this movie, we don't know much about it, but if it gives you the same thing that the other shows have been doing, distinct visual styles, songs that people want to replay, it could spread in the exact way modern animation hits. Not just through trailers, but through fan edits, drawings, reaction videos, covers, memes, and community hype. And that's why I think we could be leaning more towards generational hit. Again, too early to say this, but as a fan of her stuff and someone who's been coming back and watching my stuff for years, I just kind of feel it. And she's proven to hold on to that, especially when it comes to audience. Third reason, and this could be a secret sauce, is the Cats Don't Dance connection that I mentioned earlier. For people who don't know, Cats Don't Dance, it's one of those animated movies that didn't become a massive box office juggernaut. It became a cult classic. It has that old Hollywood musical energy, big expression, big emotions, big theatricality, big character acting. It feels like a love letter to classic show business, cartoons, and movie musicals. And VivziePop has been a fan of that because you can feel that influence in her work. Expressive characters, musical storytelling, theatrical poses, heightened emotions, and that feeling that animation should be allowed to be loud, weird, funny, sincere, and dramatic all at once. I mean, let's be real, the Warner Brothers part is pretty fascinating. Cats Don't Dance was connected to Warner's animation history, and now VivziePop, someone who's made fan animations and a fan comic inspired by Cats Don't Dance, is making an original animated musical with Warner Brothers Animation. I mean, that's like a full circle moment. This could tap into like something that a lot of modern animation it forgets. The joy of a real animated musical that feels like it's bursting on the screen. Not just a movie with songs, not just a movie with jokes, but a movie that has a theatrical rhythm. A movie where the characters look like they were designed to move. A movie where the songs push the story forward. And a movie where every pose feels like a performance. That's the Cats Don't Dance DNA I've been watching for. And if this movie can capture that while still being a VivziePop thing, it could connect those two audiences all at once. Younger fans who have known her from Has-Been and Helluva, and then older fans who miss that bold, expressive, theatrical style of animated musicals. Granted, I do see this being a CG animated movie, but given what Spider-Verse has been able to do, and, even Gooseworks having been a traditional animator for a while, transitioning to computers, I don't think that connection is really a problem anymore. Maybe it was a problem back in the early 2000s to 2010s, but in 2020 I think it's very easy for traditional animators to be able to make their work in computer animation. Granted, I personally would prefer it in 2D animation, but that's just kind of how studio heads think, unfortunately. And then the fourth reason, Warner Brothers might actually be doing the right thing for their specific swing. I know there's a lot of controversy now when it comes to them, merging with Paramount, the idea of corporations, and, animation fans in particular. They got a lot of reasons to be cautious with this. We've seen original animated projects get mishandled, undermarketed, delayed, or flattened to something safer. For years, I was looking forward to this Medusa movie that the creator of My Little Pony, Friendship with Magic, was going to do, despite not being a brony, which I don't even think, most kids nowadays don't even know about the brony phase. And I know this because I've talked to these kids, and they have no idea what this was, but it's kind of funny when you think about how that started, this whole shift into, indie animation and seeking that out. Slight tangent. Well, let's get back here. What makes this encouraging is that Warner Brothers Animation is publicly talking about this new chapter as a creator-led and artist-first style of filmmaking. They're not going to say every movie has to look the same. They're not pitching, one uniform house style. They're talking about different filmmakers bringing different visual identities. And this is exactly what you'd want for Vibs. As the brothers call it, when she was living in New York, we called the Vibs. That's just how it was. Her value is not that she has fans. Her value is that she's recognizable. She's got a creative voice. The worst version of this movie would be a watered-down VivziePop project that tries to please everybody and ends up pleasing no one. The best version of this movie is Warner giving her the scale, budget pipeline, theatrical rollout, and marketing muscle while still letting this movie feel like it came from the person people are excited about. And that's the balance. VivziePop brings this direct-to-fan connection. Warner brings a global theatrical machine. Vivzie brings that weirdness, musical emotion, and fandom intact. Warner brings the platform to make it an event. And if those two sides actually work instead of fighting each other, Prehistoria could have something most original animated movies dream of having: built-in audience and mainstream reach. And then this is my last reason. The musical angle could be the multiplier. And this is one of the biggest things I'd watch. VivziePop's work has always understood that songs can do more than decorate a story. I'm pretty sure that's how she got big, was through doing these animated music videos. Her work, songs introduce characters, they define relationships, they become memes, They give emotional shortcuts to the audience. They can keep a show alive long after this episode ends. And that's what worked for Has Been Hotel. People didn't just watch it, they replayed it, they sang it, they shared it, they reacted to it. So when I hear that Prehistoria is an animated musical, listen, that's her bread and butter. Because if this movie has even one or two songs that really connect, that can change everything. A strong animated musical number can become the trailer moment. It could become TikTok reels. It could become the fan cover moment. It could become the thing kids, teens, artists, and theater kids can latch onto. And this is where the Cats Don't Dance comparison, this is where it comes back. Because Cats Don't Dance is remembered by animation fans, not just because of its story, but that song, big and loud, man. I even got a moment to talk about that song and how, theatrical it was. And if Prehistoria can bring that kind of musical confidence into a modern fantasy world, especially with dinosaurs, fossils, witches, creatures, or whatever the fossil fantasy would end up being, this could feel fresh and nostalgic at the same time. And that's a very powerful combination. Fans enough for younger audiences, fresh enough for younger audiences, nostalgic enough for older animation fans, specific enough for VivziePop fans, and big enough for a theatrical audience. This is the recipe I'd be watching. Now, to be fair, there are still a lot of unknowns. We don't know the plot, we don't know the rating, we don't know the cast, we don't even know the release date. We don't know how it will feel to our previous work or how much it will branch out. We don't even know if this movie is going to be made. But this matters, because there's a difference between a movie with a massive built-in fandom and a movie that crosses over to the general public. This is where it matters. This is the test. Can Prehistoria keep VivziePop's voice while being accessible to people who have never watched Has Been Hotel or Hell of the Boss? Can it be weird without being Can it be weird without being alienating? Can it be emotional without being melodramatic? Can it be theatrical without feeling too niche? Can it become a family or cross-generational animation event without standing off the personality that made it care? This balance is hard. But if anybody's had experience turning niche into something with mainstream attention, it's VivziePop. So this is my take. This is my 2 cents. Prehistoria has the ingredients to become huge because it sits on the intersection of 4 things that rarely line up cleanly. A creator with massive direct fan base, an original story she's apparently been holding on to for years, a musical format that fits her strengths, and a full-circle Warner Brothers connection that feels tied to this kind of animated musical energy that helped inspire her in the first place. This is why I don't think it's another animated movie announcement. This could be one of those moments where an internet-era creator gets to make this kind of theatrical animated feature that inspired her to become an animator in the first place. She didn't just go to school because, she just wanted to be an animator and be a cog in the wheel. No. This is what this building up to. This is her, Stanley Cup. This is her NBA Finals. Hey, I'm making another connection to the Knicks because, hey, they broke a drought. This is going to be pretty big. Let me know what you think. It's a blast making these videos again. I know I come out every once in a while, and it's really hard to keep up with that. And, the algorithm is probably not going to be favorable to this. So if you could like the video, that'd be great. And for anybody that's been sticking around with me for all these years, God bless you guys. You guys are patient. You guys are awesome. I would love to still make videos. I would love to still do this. So hopefully, we can get something going and I can get back into the swing of things. With that all said and done, it's been a blast. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts, and everybody have a good night.